I got you.
It's
There you
not easy
go.
keeping track of the many me's.
How are you, my fellow neighbor?
Oh, it is so fun to be able to be with you guys. I just love hanging out with you fresh fiction gals, and looking forward to some fun times tonight with everybody.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Well, tonight is all about Christmas, Sheila. I figured that was, let's get started a little bit early. But before we get started, I know we've got some readers who are very familiar with you, but then we've also got some new to Sheila Roberts readers with us this evening. If you don't mind, would you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started writing?
Oh my goodness. Well, I've been around since dust. I was writing stories even when I was a little kid. And my first book was published in like 1989. I was 12. No, I'm just kidding.
Obviously, I was like, you were 7 years old. I understand.
But I mean, that's
a child prodigy.
So, obviously, I've been around for a while, and I'm kind of like Cher. I just keep reinventing myself. I've written under different names, and but I love writing so much. I just keep doing it. So, and of course, Christmas happens to be my favorite holiday. So I've done quite a few Christmas books over the years. A couple of them have been made into movies. On Strike for Christmas was a Lifetime movie. And then The 9 Lives of Christmas, if any of you out there are Hallmark lovers, that's like a perennial. That's just on all the time. And this year, actually, they're doing a sequel to that, The 9 Kittens of Christmas, which will be airing Thanksgiving night. So nobody really asked for my idea on the plot. So I'm going to be as surprised as all the rest of you when I watch it. But anyway, it will be fun to see where we go from the first movie. So that's kind of me in a nutshell. I like to write women's fiction with some romance thrown in and some laughter. And always there should be chocolate involved. So that's me.
I totally agree. I think that chocolate needs to be involved in any sort of reading experience, be it in the book as well as while I'm enjoying my book.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about what inspired your newest book, A Little Christmas Spirit. I just found Stanley and Lexi's story so heartwarming.
Oh, good. I love him. And this is, I think, my favorite book to date of all the books I've written, and I've written quite a
Really?
few years, but I just love it. I'm just in love with Stanley Mann, and it's kind of my homage to Dickens. I really think one of the best stories ever written was A Christmas Carol. I just think it's brilliant. And I thought, gosh, I would love to be able to write something similar to that and just jump off from where Dickens left off. And I thought, well, what if I've got a widower who just, he just doesn't want to get back in the race here, and who better to haunt him than his wife? I know that I would be happy to nag my husband from beyond the grave. So
I tell my husband all the time, I'm going to haunt him. That's my plan.
There you go. So his wife just gets on him to help him get his Christmas spirit. And of course, he's got a little neighbor that moves in that just happens to need a father figure in her life. And I'm just really happy with how the book turned out. And I like the message of it because, as we all know, it can be kind of hard this time of year for people. If you've lost people you love, or if you're feeling like you're alone, or you just having a hard time getting into the spirit of the season, I think it's just important to remember, hey, let's, we only have so much life to spend here. We do want to spend it wisely and make the most and find things we can be grateful for and ways that we can get back and get involved. And so I hope this book will kind of inspire people to do that if they happen to be in a slump at the moment, that maybe it'll be encouraging for them, to go, it's not over yet. And, what can I do to enjoy the season?
It's actually funny that you mentioned that, because one of our readers before you joined us mentioned that she picked up the book today and it was one of the first books that she had read after being in a huge reading slump. And so I think that, just hearing you say that and hoping that readers kind of, are able to pull themselves out of whatever sort of slump, either be a reader or just the sadness of not being able to be with their family for the holidays. That's what I think these books do so magically, personally.
Yes, I mean, a good Christmas read, there's nothing like it. And if you are having a hard time, there's something about reading, isn't there, where you escape into a story and you can just live a different life for a while, or you can just put your troubles behind you and just have a good read. And I used to think, oh, I'm just writing fiction, and I remember one lady, I remember her writing me and saying something about how much the particular book she'd read had meant at the time. She was going through some hard things, and it really made me feel good. And it kind of made me step back and reevaluate, because I think sometimes we devalue what we do in life. And that's not just as a writer, but whatever you happen to be doing. And maybe you're thinking, do I have any value in what I'm doing? Does anybody care? And often those little things we do make a big difference in somebody else's life. Even if as much as maybe you baked cookies for the neighbor, that might have been the only cookies they got for Christmas, So I just think sometimes we devalue, especially women. Don't you think we often as women, we
Absolutely.
tend to devalue ourselves a little bit, and we get humility overload, instead of saying, gosh, I am making a difference here. I'm working on making a difference in my life. And so anyway.
I love that so much. So is there anything, because you're not writing Christmas books at Christmas time. Is there anything specific that you do to get yourself in the mood when you're writing about the holidays? And it's like, the one rare 100-degree day that we get up in Washington.
I was going to say, and when is that?
Right.
Although we had some hot stuff this last summer.
I was going to say that June was rough.
Stuff died right and left. We hit out at the beach. But no, because all my Christmas stuff is packed away, all my little candles. There's no Fraser fir candle burning or anything. But again, I think this is a typical writer thing. We just escape off into la la land in our whole world. And years ago, we had gone through some hard times. My husband went through 2 layoffs in a 5-year period. And of course, he rose from the ashes and wound up doing fabulously career-wise. But we had some struggles. And I remember I would write a book. I was doing all kinds of crazy things to bring in money, but I would go and write a book. And I felt like this is something I can do.
Yeah.
And it was also a way to leave behind I'm just going to put that to the side. I'm not going to think about the stuff we're dealing with right now. And I'm just going to go into my pretend world and make things happen. And I get to be in charge of this universe, which I really like being in charge. It's the one place I could legitimately be in charge of everything.
Control everything.
Yes, and control the happy ending and so forth and so on. And so writing was often an escape for me when we were going through hard times. So it's just, and of course, I think it's the same with reading. If you're going through something hard, you escape into that book for a while and you come out with your batteries charged and ready to jump back into the fray.
Absolutely. Do you find it more difficult for you to get started when your world's in turmoil and you need to sort of just get all that angst onto the page? Or is it better flowing when everything's sort of going well and I'm just curious.
And I can't speak for every writer, but I bet it's similar with all of us. You just shut the curtain on that world. No, not even a curtain. You slam the metal door and it's like, you know what? I'm out of there and now I'm here. And it doesn't take long to just get into writing a story and the time just vanishes. I'll be writing away. It's like, oh my gosh, it's time for dinner. It's time to make dinner. I guess I should put my computer away now. So
dinner is always getting in the way of the things that we're trying to achieve.
I know this eating thing,
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, so I know for me, myself, it's not too hard to just divest myself of whatever happens to be going around me and just jump into writing the book.
I love that so much. Well, Stanley really reminds me of the old man from Up, even down to his reluctant adopting of his new stray dog puppy. Can you talk a little bit about finding the right balance and creating this adorable grump?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I really did fall in love with it. And I have not seen Up. I'm going to have to see that.
Oh my gosh. I felt like it was just a delightful homage to him.
Oh my gosh. So it's like I'm copying something I haven't even seen. Oh dear. But again, Stanley, I just wanted to think, okay, what would make a person, what would make somebody grumpy and what would make somebody just want to withdraw? And I thought, well, losing somebody important to you would definitely do that and put you in a funk. And it was always kind of my go-to. What would Stanley think about this? And of course, Stanley had to finally begin to realize that, there was more to life than his misery. And I did funny that he wound up, with the dog, all the things he didn't want to do, wound up with a dog. I got this next door neighbor in my life, this kid in my life. It's like, I don't want anybody in my life. These people just keep kind of invading it, and I think in a way, I think maybe he was a lot of similarity. Did you ever read the book, A Man Named Uwe or Ove or however you say it?
I saw the movie. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And I thought, oh gosh, my Stanley's a little bit like him too. He's just not ready to hang himself, but he's just ready to write off everybody.
Yep.
life just kind of, the wife keeps suckering him in, suckering him in, suckering him in. And I really had a lot of fun with her too. I just thought it was really fun that she just kept at it. You know, it's like, sorry, I am going to haunt you until you get your act together.
Mm-hmm. Those ghosts, you know, they have a mind of their own. They have their own intentions.
And I'm not a big ghost person either. I mean, I'm really not. I don't
Really?
like creepy movies. I don't like Halloween scary movies. And I just, you know, I always think, yeah, I'm not sure that you get to be a ghost once you're gone. I think you're going one direction or the other. So I'm not even sure I believe in ghosts, but she just came in very handy for this. And again, I'm so impressed with the Dickens story and how he used that and brought this man's past to light, and you know, the spirit world worked on him and made him really take a look at his life and where he was going. And so I really wanted that for my guy. I wanted him to have a real life-changing experience, have his eyes open, and have him see how important it is to be part of something other than your own misery. So, and I know there are people going through that this Christmas. You know, this holidays can be hard.
Absolutely.
You know, so I'm really hoping that this book will encourage people.
It's like the perfect Christmas gift. I guess pre-Christmas gift, really. It's weird to give Christmas books on Christmas Day.
Oh, yes. And I do, there's something about Christmas books. I don't know. There's just, like I said, it seems like these days everybody's writing one. When I first started writing Christmas books a million years ago, there weren't that many of us doing it. And now, of course, everybody has we're all on the Christmas sleigh, but that's fun. There's such a variety of stories out there that you can find something that will tickle your funny bone or make you cry. There's something for everyone, I think, this year at the holiday season. And of course, many of my friends have got books out too. And I'm in the process of, let's see, I read Rayanne's, I'm reading Debbie Maycumber's right now. And after that, I have to get to Brenda's. I have a lot of Christmas reading to do.
Absolutely. I feel like we all do. That's a great transition to some of my Christmas themed fresh facts questions that I've got for you, Sheila. What are some books, some holiday Christmas themed books, when our readers are finished reading yours, of course, that you recommend that they should pick up this holiday season?
Well, I know you want to read Nancy Nagel. She's like the queen of Hallmark. That girl has got so many Hallmark movies. I cannot believe it. But she writes a really sweet book. Rayanne Fain, of course, is just a lovely reader. And I'm sure your readers are keeping up with what she's putting out. And then, of course, Brenda Novak. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Like they said, there are so many. Annie Raines has got one out. I just did something recently with Viola Shipman, who's going to have something out. And so there are tons of Christmas books right now. You can be busy all month reading Christmas books, which is a good thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then a little bit afterwards.
Yeah. And beyond.
Do you have any hard and fast rules about reading Christmas books? Is it like I'm not going to do it until September, or it's like free for all, 365, doesn't matter what day of the year? I don't want to read Christmas books in July. I'm just, I know everybody's into the Christmas in July thing, but I kind of like to keep my holidays separate. Like, like the food on your plate, you don't want your peas stuck in your mashed potatoes. So I kind of like to do my holiday reading at the holidays. And I do another thing I love to binge on holiday movies. I'm a big holiday movie buff. Love those. So I have my ones I watch every year, and It's a Wonderful Life, which I have watched every year since I don't even know when. And now nobody in my family will watch it with me because they're sick of it. I was all by myself. You're like, it's my tradition. I don't care.
That's right. It's my tradition. I'm going to do it. But anyway, so yeah, there are so many books to choose from this year, and I bet some of the gals here will have some suggestions too. I know I've only scratched the surface, and I'm probably leaving one of my friends out here.
Oh, that's okay. Well, and speaking of holiday films, you mentioned what your favorite one was, but do you have one that is like an absolute no watch for you?
Oh, golly. You know what? This is kind of weird. I've never watched Home Alone, and that's supposed to be a holiday movie. I know.
Very much a classic.
I should watch that. The whole concept of forgetting your kid and leaving him behind is so weird to me. Although,
stressful.
I have done some forgetting things, so I really can't judge. But it's just, to me, that's so weird. So I don't know if I'll ever watch that one. And same with like The Nightmare Before Christmas. Like, I don't think I can go there. That sounds too
spooky.
That just sounds so probably not those. But I will be doing doing It's a Wonderful Life. I will be doing, another one I really love is The Family Man with Nicolas Cage.
I love that movie too.
I love that movie. So those are two for sure that will get watched. And of course, A Christmas Carol, because that's just that goes without saying. Gotta watch A Christmas Carol. So
absolutely.
yeah. So
Well, you
between
said
these and the books, I am very busy this holiday season.
I know. I was like, there are only so many hours in every day, and we have a lot of content to consume.
That's right.
Okay, so let's talk about your favorite and least favorite Christmas songs. I know that this is always a controversial topic.
Oh, wow. Favorite Christmas song. You know what? Hands down, Oh Holy Night. I love that.
Okay.
It's the most beautiful song. And actually, my brothers and I, our family are all musical and singers. And every Christmas Eve, we sing Christmas carols as part of our family gathering. And we would always sing Oh Holy Night. My older brother, who sadly we lost a few years back, would always do the solo on that. And now I don't really like to sing it anymore because it makes me sad.
Yeah.
But it's still my favorite. It's still my favorite Christmas song. I love that song. There's so many good ones out there though too. I mean, that's the other thing. Don't we love Christmas music this time? Oh, so fun.
Yeah. As soon as it starts to have that little bit of a chill in the air, I'm like, Christmas time, Christmas music.
Christmas time.
All right. Well, what about your least favorite Christmas song? Do you have a least favorite Christmas song?
Oh, yes. If Holly Jolly Christmas. It's like, if you want to torture me, tie me up and play that song for me. It's like, no, I don't want to hear Holly Jolly Christmas. Stop.
Please stop it.
Speaking of songs, I should have mentioned too, and we did this years ago. We made a music video to go with Merry Xmas, one of my earlier Christmas books. And so if you go on YouTube and you Google Merry Christmas Mama and Sheila Roberts, this music video we made will come up. I wrote a song with my songwriting buddies, and it's very funny. It was based on the character in that book who got in trouble with his mother-in-law. He'd written a song that was not a good one for the mother-in-law to hear, and it got him in big trouble with him and ex-wife. And anyway, we thought it'd be really fun to do a Christmas song. So we've got this goofy Merry Christmas Mama. I got hauled off by Santa Claus. My hair was brown back there. This was a few years ago. But anyway, so that's just a really fun one. I like novelty Christmas songs. I think those are always fun. I love, even though my hair is white now, I still love Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. So
that song always makes me think of my dad. He loves that song. Okay. Another controversial Christmas themed question for you. Do you like white lights or multicolored lights?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So both.
I really like both. I really do. I love the white lights. Are so pretty, and I like the little icicles, but I love to see the multicolored ones too. And it's hard to go wrong at Christmas. The one thing I probably am not wild about are the inflatables. Everybody loves them now, but I'm just not a fan of those. They seem, I don't know, they just don't happen to ring my Christmas bells. But you know what then? Different strokes for different folks. And I know if you've got kids in your family, they are probably wanting those inflatables.
Absolutely. Yeah, they are. They're funny. I always had a neighbor growing up who had them at one point. It covered the entire front yard with the inflatables. I think he was having like a battle with the neighbor next door.
Oh my goodness.
So I kind of enjoyed the pettiness of that, obviously, but it was a little intense. I feel bad for anybody that was like across the street from them, any of the lights that might be staring at them in the morning.
Like the Griswold family Christmas.
Yes, exactly. All right, well, switching over to some just general fresh fiction or fresh facts. What is your favorite trope to read?
Oh, wow. Well, it's got to be romance, although I read a lot out of the genre too. I'm a Grisham junkie. I read him. I've read the Jack Reacher books. The one thing I don't like to read for some reason are mysteries.
Oh, interesting.
I love to watch mysteries on TV or in a movie. I love that. But for some reason, it doesn't translate for me to reading a mystery as a book. I don't understand what cog is missing there that I can't, that I'd rather watch a movie, a mystery, than read a book mystery. But there you have it. Anyway.
Well, perfect. So what is your favorite time of day to write?
My favorite kind of what?
Oh, your favorite time of day to write.
My favorite kind of day to write?
Time
Time of day.
Sorry, I apologize.
Like Oh, you know what? I kind of don't have one. My writing kind of revolves around my social life. So, if I've got something going in the morning, if it's time to go line dancing, well, then the writing will get done after that. Or if it's time
That's
to go
fair.
play tennis, then the writing will get done after that. So it could be morning, afternoon. But the one thing I do is make sure I write every day. Because, when you're doing this for a living, you don't have the luxury of saying, I think I'll sit around and wait for the muse to come, sit on my shoulder. And muses can be very hard to capture. And if you wait for one, you'll be waiting a long time. So I think it's the same with many of my friends. We just sit down and we go, okay, I'm coming. I hope you show up there, muse, because I'm starting with or without you. So, but any time of day really works fine for me, except for late at night. By nighttime, I am kind of a mush head. And so, then I just do want to read or sit and watch a movie on TV.
Excellent. So is evening time your favorite time of day to read?
Yeah, I like to go to bed early and read. Go to bed, take my book to bed, and just read for a couple hours before it's lights out. So that's really my favorite reading time of day. Except for on Sunday. I always try to take Sundays off and really do the day of rest thing and give my body a break. And so I sometimes like to read on a Sunday afternoon too, if there's, especially in the winter, now that we're kind of hunkering in and the fire in the fireplace and whatever, then it's kind of nice to sit on a Sunday afternoon and read a book.
Yeah, getting that cozy season.
Yes, I'm currently reading a biography of James Cagney, which is kind of interesting.
Oh, interesting. What inspired you to pick that book up?
It was one we had. This is pretty interesting. We're in the throes of moving. I'm doing all kinds of fun little book events. And in between, I am chatting with readers. But we had this pile of books that we're getting ready to. I thought, I haven't read that in a really long time. I'm going to pick that book up and read it. So that's how come I'm doing that right now. It just happened to be there calling to me. I thought, oh, I think I'll read this because I don't remember much about him. But anyway, love to read biographies. I think that's always interesting.
Yeah, I think, have you ever read a biography and then decided to make a character based about whoever you were reading?
No, but that's a good idea. I should do that.
Yeah, it was like you could make a romance about James Cagney. I don't know. There's probably something admirable about him in there. He's a wonderful actor.
That's a thought.
Do you do anything special to celebrate a new release?
Golly. Usually I am pretty busy doing, partying. And I always try to do an online party, and I like to do events to celebrate a release. And I'm so happy that we're starting to come to the tail end of this COVID thing where we can start doing in-person things again, because I really missed that during COVID. We did a lot of online things, which was fun, but it's just something about being with people that is just really special. So if I have a book out, I want to hang with people and celebrate that way. I know a lot of writers tend to be a little more introverted, but I'm kind of the opposite. I just like to be out there with people doing things.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, so what is some advice that you would give to your younger self?
Wow. Think before you do stuff. I mean, really, I look back at some of the things I did and the attitudes I had, and I think, honestly, why didn't I just stop and give myself a talking to? But I was so busy being obnoxious that, there was no time to give myself a talking to. So I would definitely try and think more before I said things or acted. It's very easy when you're young, you don't think ahead to possible.
No. You think you know everything when you're
later.
You're like you think you know everything at that point.
Well, yeah, don't you think that's pretty normal? Did you know everything when you were really young?
Oh, of course. Yeah. And then I quickly learned that I did not know anything.
It's kind of a shocking discovery, isn't it? It's like, oh my gosh.
I think it's when I was in college, I was a philosophy major, and I took my Plato classes and learning about Socrates and his whole game of just being like, the whole thing is you don't know the answer. You don't know anything. And I'm like, oh God.
It's like, yes, I do.
We don't know anything.
I'm 19, I know everything.
Right.
I did at 19 anyway.
So who is a dream writer collaboration that you would love to work with?
Oh, wow. I wish he was still alive. I would love to have worked with Donald E. Westlake. I just love him. And not a lot of people know about him. He was big he didn't really write mysteries. He wrote caper books and crime novels, but he was a grand master in the mystery writers of America. And he wrote all these really cool caper books. And he was just I loved those books. The other person I would love to have written was I call it, all of a sudden it went out of my mind, the guy that wrote the Rockford Files. Stephen.
Stephen Cannell.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. In fact, I did write a con artist book once, and I think I remember contacting him, and I had a nice response back. It wasn't like, oh yes, Sheila, let's collaborate, but I got a nice letter back from him anyway.
He was like, keep on trying.
Yeah, keep on trying and not go away and bother somebody else.
Right.
Yeah, pest.
Oh, that's so funny.
But I always have, do you ever do this? Do you ever think of people you'd love to meet, like famous
Mhm.
people?
Absolutely.
So who are you? I'll tell you mine, but you tell me yours first.
Okay. People I would like to meet in person. I would love to meet Michelle Obama. Like, she's definitely on my list of like top celebrities. I would love to meet like oh God, it's hard. Steven Spielberg. I think it would be really
Oh,
cool to
yeah.
meet Steven Spielberg, or Penny Marshall. I wish she was still alive. That would have been amazing. Yeah. Trying to think of who else.
All those
Like,
creative types.
yeah, all these famous creatives. Yeah. What about you?
I still want to meet Tom Selleck. I don't know if that's going to happen. But ask if he's still alive long enough, so I could meet him. I was a huge.
He's still alive. He's still
Megan
handsome as all get out.
I know, he was just so cute. I would love to meet him. I have a movie star thing. I like movie stars. I'd like to have met Jeff Goldblum too. I really liked him. I thought he was just cool.
Yeah, that would be, he seems like such an odd duck, but also like you would probably have a very fun conversation with him.
Very quirky
Mhm.
person. But anyway, so yeah, those are on my top list.
Oh, those are some good choices. Now I want to know everybody in the chat room, or everybody
Yeah, I'd love to know who everybody else.
Pop them in the chat. Tell us what celebrities you'd like to meet.
Yes.
We'll talk about it in a minute.
What famous person do you want to meet?
Right. So, Sheila, are you able to listen to music when you write?
No.
Okay.
I don't, because I have a music and a singing background, and if I start listening to music, then I just start singing, and I want to sing harmonies, and I'm not paying attention. I do that with line dancing too, would be line dancing, a song come on, really like, I'm singing away, and all of a sudden realize I'm facing the wrong direction of everybody else because I got so busy singing along with the song.
Mhm.
So I would not get any writing done if I did that at all.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm the same way. I'm like, if I have any music, it has to be no words,
Yes, no
or
words.
a foreign language. That
Yeah,
seems to be able to work.
Instrumental is good. Somebody said Olivia Newton-John, I thought.
Yeah.
Oh, Tom Hanks. Oh, that's the other person I would love to meet. I would love it if Tom Hanks would like to make a movie of A Little Christmas Spirit and play my grumpy Stanley man. I don't know if any of you saw the movie, The News of the World, that he was in. That's a fairly recent movie. Oh, he was so good in that.
Yeah.
That movie.
I've heard amazing things about that book too. That book is supposed to be so phenomenal.
Really? Okay, I need to read the book.
Yeah, you would probably really like it, Sheila, because it's nonfiction. So yeah, it would be a great addition to your biography.
Oh, it's a nonfiction. I didn't know that.
Nonfiction. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, making a note of that.
Yep.
Very cool.
Yep.
Interesting. The different people are listing that they would like to meet. That's very interesting.
I know. It's like, but I think everybody agrees Tom Hanks seems to be one of the big winners.
Oh yeah.
And Tom Selleck.
Yeah, he's just a treasure. I just love Tom Hanks.
All the Toms. Well, Sheila, I'm going to open up the floor for our readers to go ahead and ask you some follow-up questions, if you don't mind. Just stick around for like maybe 15 more minutes.
Ask away, guys. I will tell you anything about my age, or my weight.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and take us up. If you have questions for Miss Sheila, you can ask them one of three ways. You can pop them into the chat and I will read them out loud to you. You can raise your hand and I'll call on you, or you can use the little reactions button in the bottom of the toolbar and I will call on you, and you will have the floor. All right. In the meantime, let's get going. All right, who's got questions for Sheila? Who's our brave first one?